A white couple that adopted a girl from China decided that the Holy Spirit is telling them, don't put this vaccination in her body, and now are putting her at risk after adopting her, knowing she would continue to have significant health problems when it comes to her heart and potentially need a transplant. They knew this going in, and yet they already had in the back of their heads, because they have 12 children and none of these children are vaccinated. And the agency just let that slide here. The home study, no problem there. They still were allowed to adopt. And now this child is at the mercy of her parents. They were cautioned about adopting a child with heart issues, and the agency even told them to pick another kid, and had stopped taking their money, it seemed. But then a few years later, they were trying to adopt again, and then saw that the child was still in custody and needed a family. And knowing this, knowing the extent of her medical issues and their own religious beliefs already, they still decided to go through with this. And I know this is hard for some folk who are super religious to get, but when it comes to certain things like healthcare and science, that's one of those things where you can't really say, well, God doesn't want us to have a vaccine. And as many adoptees have been talking about this, it's just been getting to me more and more, because I know how much of a struggle it can be when your parents don't believe in modern medication. And my heart breaks for her, because she deserves better than this. She deserves parents that will get her proper medical care and do the best for her. And doing this just because they have a feeling, not based in any scientific evidence, is just appalling. They should have done enough research and understood that, oh, well, our family is not okay with this, or figured out a different hospital from the start, and that they are now using to get attention in the news, because they are trying to make the hospital seem like the bad guy here. And hospitals already have a lot of issues, but this is not one of them, because again, they knew going into this that this child was going to need a heart transplant, and that in most cases there's very strict protocol when it comes to getting on a transplant list. And I think another part of this that is infuriating is that they're using this child as a talking point to get their cause underway for the religious freedom. Now, it's not really surprising that this has now spurred a potential new Ohio bill in response to this, where Rep. Jennifer Gross is now seeking co-sponsors to prevent discrimination against religious liberty. And I think it's super hypocritical, especially from the pro-life side of the government, who are just willing to do anything to take away people's medical decisions, and yet are upset when other people say that their unsafe decisions cannot be supported here, because there are very strict criteria for people on the transplant list. So it's just a whole very hypocritical situation that is tragic, and I hope gets sorted out soon for the sake of this child, because she doesn't deserve this. And I hope her parents at least keep her out of the spotlight instead of plastering her face everywhere, because I'm sorry, it just seems like they're doing a lot of this for attention, because if it was for the child's best interest, they would do anything in their care to get her that transplant. For more adoptee thoughts on news and media like this, make sure you click all these and subscribe on the other places. I have longer content on the YouTube that you can follow there, and video versions of my podcast, so make sure you check that out. And let's hope and pray that this child gets the care that she needs.